Hey guys, it's Allison here, and I have a second video and layout for LOAD218 Day 15. I was so inspired by the prompts that Alice sent today that I immediately thought of two different stories that I could tell. Um, Last night, when I had received the prompt, I hadn't watched the video, I hadn't really looked at things in detail. I just saw that part of the prompt was that recipe to use a large photo, and so I had pulled that out last night. Today, after I watched the video that comes with the prompt and sort of took a closer look at everything, this particular image, the heart out of hands, and the quote that goes with it, really spoke to me. And I thought of another story that I could tell. So I decided to just go for it and make two layouts today and two videos and tell two stories. So every day Alice sends through an inspirational quote, and it comes with an image. And like I said, this image today just really struck me. So the quote reads, "The human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it." And sort of the adventure that I think goes with that is to scrapbook something hard. It says, "I can do anything, something hard or difficult, lighthearted like an exam, or deeper like an illness or traumatic event." I don't know how many of you know anything about my background, but I was orphaned at 14, and so I relate to the character of Harry Potter in a deeper way, I guess. So that's why this particular quote really spoke to me and made me think of these photos of the Potter house. This is in the back lot of the studio. And this is a house that Voldemort blew up, I guess, when Harry's parents were killed. And I had been basically avoiding scrapbooking them because I really wasn't sure what direction I wanted to take the journaling. So when I saw this image and read the quote and the adventure prompt that goes with it, I decided today was the day. And I knew that I wanted to use that image because it's so beautiful. So I decided to print it off onto vellum, and then it's layered on just a sheet of plain white cardstock. And I wanted to keep the rest of the layout quite calm. I didn't want to introduce any bright colors, so I have matted the photos onto that newsprint pattern paper that I tried desperately to fit into my layout earlier today. And then I knew that I had that branding strip at the top with all those clouds on it. So I went searching for that, and while I was searching for that, I found the one at the bottom with the black and white stripes. And it was at that point that I decided to keep everything really, really soft. So I put those on, and I had adhered everything down, and then I wasn't happy with the margins of vellum on either side of the image, so I went back and cut those off. The vellum is only sort of tacked down at the top and bottom underneath the paper strip at the top and the photos at the bottom, so it was pretty easy to chop off the sides of the vellum there. And then I just want to add just little bits of paper and things to those two little corners. So I went searching in my 6x6 paper pads. I was actually specifically looking for more of that cloud print. I wanted to bring it down to the bottom. And I thought it was a little by little paper. So I went into the 6x6 paper pad, and I couldn't find the cloud print, but I did end up finding those two square images that I cut out, and then that black and white polka dot paper that I have just adhered to the page. And I like how these two corners are starting to be built up with just little pieces. And because I'm keeping the colors really neutral, nothing is detracting from that image that I really wanted to have front and center. And then I found one more paper. This is from Starshine, I believe. It's gray with like white and dark gray starbursts on it. And I was about to cut it into strips, and I thought, no, I need a new shape. So I punched it into a big circle and chopped that circle in half so I can have it show up in both sections. Now I'm also realizing as I'm editing this that I am getting into a bit of a rut. It seems like all my layouts have this embellishment cluster in the top left and again in the bottom right. So I think I'm going to have to make an effort to shake things up over the next few days and work on some different designs. So I'm just flipping through the rest of that Starshine book to see if there's anything more that I want to cut out. And I have cut this little strip. It's got a quote on it as well, and like a row of little blue stars. However, the background is more of a creamy white, not stark white. And so it's fighting a little bit, and it's also quite long. So I'm not convinced that I'm going to use it, so I don't glue it down. And then I also cut out that darker rectangle. It's got clouds on it, but they're not the same clouds as up at top. So again, I'm not convinced, but I lay them down just to see if they will eventually work, which they don't. I eventually leave them off the layout altogether. So now I'm moving my attention to finding a title. And I've still got those glittery word stickers on my desk, and I went through them to see if any of those would work as a title, but they're far too happy. So I do remember that I have a couple other sets of her word stickers. The ones you see on my desk are the ones from Go Now Go. They're kind of a antiqued gold, coppery, I guess, glitter, and there's nothing there that is appropriate. And then I have this sheet of foam thickers. So one side is white and the other side is black. And I end up using the white ones to spell out beautiful life. And that might seem like an odd title considering the tone of the photos and what I've already told you about why they sort of spoke to me. But it will make sense once I add all the journaling. So I'm just, I went looking for some more letter stickers in gray this time. These are from Jelly Bean Soup. I don't know how old they are. They've been in my stash forever. You saw me making sure that I had all the right letters to spell the word I wanted, and that's how long they've been in my stash. So now my title reads This Beautiful Life. And I know that I can make it relate to my journaling. Sometimes when you are doing your journaling, you can use your title as a jumping off point. So you can start your journaling with your title. And sometimes you can have your title be the middle of your journaling. Sometimes it can be the end of your journaling. So in this particular case, it is the end of my journaling. So now I decide I needed some dimension in those two embellishment areas. So I've popped those squares up with some pop dots. And once those are in place, it's time for me to get my journaling in. So I thought I would read you the journaling. It's not private. It is more personal, I suppose, than a lot of the journaling in this book. But that's another of the things I love about LOAD, and I've said this before, it will take you down these paths that you don't expect. So yeah, this is an album about a fun day at Harry Potter tour. But, you know, even in the fun times, it can sort of force you to reflect on darker times. So, my journaling. Seeing the Potter house in all its glorious destruction really took me by surprise. I found it quite solemn and made me sad. I know that Harry is just a character in a book, but he has always felt so real to me. And as I too grew up an orphan, this moment made me stop and think about all the things I now have in this beautiful life. See what I did? So journaling finished, it's time to just get some final embellishment on the layout. And I go back to those black and white foam stickers and pull off some stars to add to each cluster. And then I get the glittery enamel shapes from Glitter Girl, and I use the darkest blue ones. And I added one to each embellishment area, and then there was only one remaining on the sheet, and I was like, I can't just leave one on the sheet. So I ended up putting it at the end of the title. And then my last touch is some silver Heidi Swap Color Shine. And that's it, that's all done. So there's a nice close look at the quote image. I'm just struck by it, it's just so beautiful. So I'm really happy I could include that on the page today. So bonus second layout, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.